There we go.
Hello, welcome to the September 2022 meeting of the CV3's Transportation, Public Safety, and the Environment Committee. I think that's all the parts of the committee. So we have, we have a few items on the agenda. We're probably not going to go directly in order. One item that was on the agenda is not going to be heard tonight. So I'll let people know that up front. We're not going to be talking about the proposed bus layover on First Street at the corner, basically at the corner of First Avenue between. That item is not on the agenda tonight. I believe all the other ones are still going to be heard tonight. So we need to now have the a roll call. So Wendy, are you on to do a roll call for members?
Yes. David Crane.
Here.
Joshua Waterman.
Here.
Wendy Lee here. Lee Berman.
Here.
Tariq Darrell.
Here.
Kenya Hernandez. Kenya. Michelle Cooper-Smith.
Present.
And July Yang. July. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you. And I would like to also introduce Josh Waterman, who's going to be the vice chair for the committee for a while now. And thank you to Michelle, who had been the vice chair up until tonight. And trying to bring up our actual agenda. Susan, is there an item that we absolutely really should do first? Because
I was going to suggest the block party because it should only take a few minutes.
thank you. So there's a block party being proposed. It's a significant event, and I'm going to let them describe it. But it's called it's the Filipino American History Month block party. And if the applicant is here, would like to describe briefly like what it is, we can question you based on the application if you'd prefer.
Hi, this is Jennifer from University Settlement. Hi, Susan. We're going to have people, I would like to we're supporting the application. So I'd like the applicant to also be here because she'll have, many more sort of finite answers to your questions than I will. But I can start off by telling you the support that we've gotten and the support that we're providing, if that's helpful.
If you could describe the nature of the event is really what we're going to be interested in, like where it is, when it is, and how large it's likely to be.
Yeah.
Say the event is support is already documented.
So Augie is going to be better at that than I will, because I don't know how many people they are anticipating. Let me see where she is.
The location is on Eldridge Street between Rivington and Delancey. I believe.
Delancey.
That's actually blocked with the large University Settlement building.
Yep,
You know that?
exactly. But I don't know how many people she's anticipating. So I know that we have reached out to all of the religious institutions on that block, which is, there's a mosque, there's a church right around the corner, there's our building. We've reached out to Chinese American Planning Council, who have an office on that block, and I know that they have given their support. We've reached out to the tenant association that's part of the NYCHA Senior Housing that's at 175 Eldridge, that's right there, to garner their support. The tenant, we reached out to the tenant association president there. I know we have support from SDR Park, which is not right in that part, in that block, but it is a block over, and what happens on our block generally sort of spills over and affects the park. And we have their support in the park. Yeah.
Just kind of describe what the event is.
Yeah, so, as far as I know, they want to celebrate Filipino heritage and would like to have a block party that supports that. But like I said, I don't know how many people
Okay.
they're expecting.
There was a form that was filled out, and so
Yeah.
we saw the results of that. It
Yeah.
said 500 to 1,000.
I mean, that sounds about right. I would guess it would probably be on the lower end than the higher end, would be my guess.
It said there would be things like things that required permits, and those were all laid out in the report that I saw. There's
Mhm.
like flames of some sort, presumably cooking, I imagine.
Yeah, they own a restaurant, so the people that are applying own a small business that's a block away from that site. Cabecera is the name of their restaurant, and they've been really amazing neighborhood partners to us,
Okay,
which is part of the reason that we're supporting their application.
okay. And it talked about sound permit. That's the one that
Yep.
okay, what's the nature of that?
Well, I'm sure that they want to amplify music. I'm sure that they want to amplify some sort of, MC and speakers, and probably some of their activities.
And the hours for the block party, I forgot what it said on the form. Do you know?
I don't, but I believe it's middle of the day.
Yeah, I believe so too.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I saw on the form, and those are the questions I had.
Okay.
If the committee has clarifying questions, they could ask them. I kind of want to get, if there's any public input, I'd rather get that before we say debate something. Committee? Is there-
David, just to clarify, they had 12 to 6 on the application, set up at 9 a.m. and the event 12 noon to 6 p.m.
Thank you.
So that would be the traffic would presumably be blocked for that whole time. Susan?
I just want to clarify for everyone, we always approve a sound pit permit for 4 hours only.
So we'll make sure, and we'll also have our main building open for things like bathrooms and for people to go in and out of, because we'll be right there, right?
Great.
So that may be it.
Is there anyone from the public who wants to speak? Is there something you want to make sure of? I don't see any hands being raised. I'm not exactly sure. Look for them at the moment. Sorry.
There's no hands raised.
Okay, thank you.
So I would just say the applicant should have been here since it's so much being supported and run with University Settlement, and we know you so well. I
Yeah.
would imagine there's an exception, but the applicant should have been here.
Yeah, I mean, I know that they were planning on it. I don't know what happened. I wonder if they're just running late.
Okay.
I'm happy to try to reschedule something. I don't know how much more information you need.
Well, I don't know that we need more.
Okay.
If there were a lot of questions, I think we would. I think
Yeah.
we'll probably go forward. And Michelle, what do you have to say?
Oh, I was just going to say, I mean, we're at the very beginning of the meeting. If we think it's important for the applicant to be here, we could give them a chance to come. So,
True. We could table it till further in the meeting. Or we could approve this. So the thing is, the 4 hours we would like them to be aware of that and hear.
I mean, I'm happy to take responsibility for making sure that they know that.
The police won't approve it for more than 4 hours.
Yeah.
So I think that we could actually, well, unless the committee, someone objects, I think that or if someone moves to table right now, we should just go ahead and decide whether to approve this or not. I'm not hearing anyone try to table it. So committee, speak for or against, or feel free to say that you move to approve or to deny.
I move to approve.
Second.
Okay, so let's just quickly draft a resolution with just a couple sentences describing the nature of the event and that we approve it. That's all we kind of really need to do. I know that Susan goes onto a website and says we approved it. So the actual language is only for the board to understand what they're approving. Okay. So Wendy, are you ready to take down our draft?
Yeah, sure. I just need screen sharing.
Okay, great.
Sure, one sec, Wendy.
Mhm.
We may already have the language.
You should be able to now, Wendy.
I can't see. Oh.
Okay, so Is University Settlement sponsoring it, or is this with the support of the University Settlement?
It's with support from us.
So what is the name of the actual group that is proposed to have a,
Well, so the restaurant is called Cabecera.
okay. So let's just say that, let's just, CB3 Manhattan approves of a block association, of a block party sponsored by, and it's, sorry, the name was?
Not,
Cabecera.
don't put the restaurant, the commercial does not sponsor it. It's a nonprofit.
There is a nonprofit.
It should be, I don't have the agenda in front of me. Does the agenda?
Unless Palenque maybe is the name of the organization.
It sounds right. It sounds like it. That's what it is.
If I click through to their application, event name, the name is, looks like that's the name. I actually couldn't figure out the name of the organization when I looked at the form. Applicant name is Muse or Musa Ose, M-U-S-E.
Yeah. So he works for University Settlement. He's assistant to our CEO.
So then let's put University Settlement.
Okay.
Sorry, folks. I thought I was just supporting.
Okay. For, and then you can cut paste Filipino American History Month, Palenque. On, now we should probably date and location. What day of the week is that?
The Sunday.
Okay, on a Sunday, October 30th, from, okay, from 12 till 6 p.m. We'll have more later. From 12 on the block of Eldred Street between Rivington and Delancey Street. Yeah. Yeah, spell them all later. Okay, so then we should also state that the street closure would begin at 9 a.m.
Will begin.
I believe that's what I'm reading on the form and what we heard. Set up, you know, at 9 a.m. And there will be a sound permit lasting no more than 4 hours.
No more than 4 hours?
Correct. Yeah. We don't know which 4, so this is, that's good. And is there anything else that someone in the committee feels that the board is going to need in order to avoid lengthy discussion at the meeting? I think it's good. If no one on the committee raises a concern right now or an idea, then we will go to a vote. Another few seconds. No hands? Okay. Let's have a vote on this. Please, Wendy.
Should I have you go last?
Yeah, I prefer voting last. Yes, thank you.
Joshua Waterman,
Yes.
Wendy Lee, yes. Lee Berman,
Yes.
Michelle Cooper Smith. Michelle. Let's see you. Tariq. And did I disconnect? Can you guys still hear me okay?
I can still hear you. And I think
Yes.
Michelle got kicked out.
We can hear
She's
you.
coming back in.
Oh, okay. Tariq, you still there? And Michelle Cooper Smith?
Yes.
David Crane?
Yes,
Right. Thank you very much.
thank you. Okay.
This is July here. I didn't, I'm a yes,
Oh,
but I
okay.
just called.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Excuse me. Okay, we now have this Baxter Street. DDC, I think, is presenting Baxter Street. There's a situation where there's construction and truck loading and unloading has been impacted. I think that's the situation that DDC is prepared to, or is there an applicant?
That's correct. Hi, I'm Lauren Messier. I'm here on behalf of DDC, and I'll be giving a short presentation to go over this issue with everybody, if that's okay.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Do you need to present?
I do need to present, yeah. So I need screen sharing enabled.
You should have it now, Lauren.
Okay, great. Okay, and let me just, can you guys see my screen now?
Yes.
To full screen mode. I have to minimize a couple of the Zoom windows that are open so they're not distracting me. All right, thanks everyone. So I am here today on behalf of DDC. We are representing, we're working on the borough-based jails project, which is taking place. It's what you're largely seeing in this photo on the blocks between Walker Street, Center Street, and Baxter Street. We frequently give presentations to Community Board 1, as that's where the site technically falls within the CD1 boundary. But today we're here to talk about an issue that's affecting restaurants and businesses on the east side of Baxter Street. So I'm going to zoom into this area, which is within CV3. So we're presenting this issue to all of you tonight. What you're seeing in this diagram here as we're zooming into Baxter between Walker and Bayard, there are outdoor dining sheds for all the restaurants that are highlighted here in yellow on Baxter Street. Then those are in the parking lane on the east side of the street. And then in the parking lane on the west side of the street, this dashed red line is showing the extents of the construction fencing that is surrounding the site of our project. Through the outreach that we've been doing and conversations with the community, we met with folks. I think we last met with the community board over the summer, and a couple of residents has raised concerns that they were hearing from restaurants on Baxter Street that they were having some trouble and difficulty getting deliveries in, or the delivery trucks were having some trouble finding adequate parking space to be able to stop for an extended period of time and load and unload supplies for the restaurants. So we went out, we spoke with all of the restaurant owners and businesses on Baxter Street to understand their concerns better. And so it is the construction fencing that's taking over the parking lane on the west side. This is not actually public parking at the moment. It's authorized use only for DOC vehicles and NYPD vehicles, but it is, we understand.
Can I interrupt for just a moment to let
Of
people
course,
know
David, go right ahead.
I have been trying to orient myself to the map, and north is actually to the left.
It is, yeah.
A few minutes ago, but I'm wondering if other people got it.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, this is from, we're pulling these slides from, we often give, and it's such a horizontal site that we lay it out this way on the slides, but yeah, north is to the left, that's right. So this is our whole construction site. Apologies if I went over that a little too quickly. And then we're zooming in here, so it's Baxter Street between Bayard and Walker. Okay. And please, if anything else is unclear as I go through this, I hope you all feel free to interrupt me and ask questions. So anyway, we do understand we're not taking over, the construction fencing isn't taking up technically public parking space, but it is nonetheless, it is a narrow street. It is very crowded between the sheds and the construction fencing here. And what public parking is available on the east side, right adjacent to the restaurants that are here, is, you know, it's every time I'm down there on the street, there's always cars parked there. So it has been difficult, and we've heard from a number of the restaurant owners that it is a little bit of a challenge right now to receive deliveries. So we met, I think back in July and August, we had a call with Susan and with Jackie Lazaro, who is here from DOT as a representative, to discuss what we could potentially do to help mitigate these challenges for the local business owners. So what we are proposing to do, or what DOT is here, and Jackie can walk you through a little bit more detail and information about this. But what we're proposing to do is replace some of the public metered parking on the east side of the street with commercial metered parking. So that'll be designated specifically for this type of use and these vehicles that need to come in and drop off deliveries. Jackie, do you want to unmute and add a little bit more background and context from DOT's perspective on this?
Yeah, of course. Again, thank you, Lauren, for setting up this lovely slideshow. So to give a little bit of background, this block was once truck loading, and then at some point it became 2-hour metered parking, and then again became part commercial metered parking and part 2-hour metered parking, where finally it was converted to, all of it was converted to 2-hour metered parking. So, when we discussed internally, we, to help with the loading and deliveries for the restaurants, our team looked at it and thought, the best recommendation would be to put commercial metered parking at this location.
Thank you, Jackie. And I believe last time I was checking the participants list, I'm not sure if I saw them on, but we did have 2 of the restaurant owners who were willing to come and speak tonight to how this would benefit them. Is Andy Ha on? Andy, are you available? And if so, feel free to unmute.
Doesn't look that way.
Okay, or Andrew from Baxter Street Pizza. I know Andrew had a prior meeting that he was hoping would end in enough time for him to come on tonight. And if not, we might be able to get you a follow-up in, in email or writing, just expressing their support, but they were both very willing to come tonight and speak for this issue. Okay, if they hop on a little bit later and I see them, I'll be sure to let you all know. And Susan, if you'd like us to send an email later with, kind of a written testimony.
I just thought, no, it would be helpful for the committee, but if they're not here, they're not.
Okay. So anyway, we're hoping that the committee will take this under consideration. Again, we're here to help just facilitate bringing this to all of you on behalf of those community members, and hoping that this eases, the stress of construction. We know it's just difficult. There's construction happening all over the city, and anything we can do to mitigate those impacts, we're happy to help. And before I finish, I just want to leave, as I said, we typically present to Community Board 1 as the site does fall within the boundary of CB1. But of course, we try our best to get the word out. We have a designated community construction liaison. So if anyone within CB3 who isn't attending those meetings, hopefully if they're interested in, hearing more information about the project or expressing concerns or bringing issues like this to our team, we do have a number of resources that are available to folks. We have a designated website. We have a community construction liaison with an office on Walker Street, right across from the site. This is the address. There's a phone number and an email address where you can raise complaints or concerns. And then we also, if you want to be on, we have what we call the neighborhood notification list. And our community construction liaison sends out weekly construction bulletins, updates of what's going on the site. We also send out advisories in the event of any impactful activities, if we have to close a sidewalk or a street or anything. So if anyone wants to be on that list and isn't already, so you can put your contact information into the chat here or reach out to our community construction liaison at this email address. And that's it for my presentation.
Thank you. Susan, I see your hand up.
First of all, we do get the construction list. So my question goes back to the meeting we had this summer. Are the restaurants using the sheds, or are they keeping them because they're too expensive to demolish?
So as we've heard, we went out, Susan, following that conversation, and I think we sent over a spreadsheet that was, it was for DOT's use in assessing this. We included the delivery days and times along with the current usage of the sheds. So the restaurant that's down here closest to Bayard, that's a restaurant called Appetize, it's Thai food. They have expressed that they're not using this shed and would be happy to remove it. It's just that the cost is too expensive right now, so they can't afford to take it down themselves. The other restaurants have said that they are still using the sheds.
Okay, so I'd like to give something to think about. The community, the city removes at taxpayer expense, the city removes abandoned sheds. So now we have a shed that's not abandoned, but it's not used. But everybody in the area would be better off if it were removed, because it would then be either parking, or loading and unloading, and it wouldn't be attracting rats or whatever. It's just there for no reason. I would like to suggest that we ask the city, since this parking and street use is being lost for the construction, I would like to suggest that maybe we want to ask the city to help to pay the cost of removing the shed. The one shed that the restaurant owner is not using.
Got it. Which agency would we direct that to? Are you thinking
DOT.
DOT?
They're already paying for all the abandoned ones. If the restaurant's there and doesn't use it, the city won't pay to take it down. But if they close shop and it's there, the city will pay to take it down.
Yeah, I understand. So anyway, DDC, your proposal is to convert which parking to commercial metered parking along the whole. I can't tell from this map. It's
Sure. Yeah, Jackie, do you want to clarify, is there a particular space on here, or is it all of the 2-hour metered parking that we're converting?
So it would be from where, it's a little difficult to say on this one. On the east side of Baxter, more heading towards the north side, so where the structures end.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And I know there is also an active driveway there, so obviously we wouldn't have, there isn't parking because of the garage, I think that's there as well. But I believe in total it would be about 4 spaces.
Okay, and it's currently metered for anybody during those hours.
Yes.
And it would be
2-hour metered parking
during those hours, commercial metered during those hours.
Mm-hmm.
All right, is there anyone from okay, Josh, your hand's up.
Yeah, I guess my question, I mean, it's such a small street to begin with. What is the alternative if this were not to go through? I mean, those trucks are still going to be making deliveries, right? Just standing in moving lanes now, or is there, I mean, maybe can you describe the situation now for commercial loading and unloading?
Sure. What I understand from the local businesses is that the trucks either, they circle the block a few times hoping that a space opens up temporarily, or they frequently have to park, a couple blocks away. And it adds a lot to the loading unloading time because they have to transport things a much greater distance rather than being able to more conveniently and efficiently park outside of the businesses.
That's a quite around the block. Okay, thank you. Susan.
So this is the block where Chung Pak is on the corner also, is that correct?
That's correct, Chung Pak is here.
So for everyone, that's a senior center, I think a Section 8 senior center. So I think it's really important to keep that street as clear as possible because of, ambulance and all, all the vehicle needs for Chung Pak.
Yeah, it's also, but with the sheds here and the construction fencing, I mean, these are parking lanes, but it is, it's a one-way street. And so double parking here isn't really an option. It certainly it would just basically block the entire street and impede traffic.
Yeah. All right. So if the committee understands the proposal, I'd like to ask the public to speak. Committee, is there any clarifying question? Are there people from the public who want to speak about this? I'm not seeing anyone, but feel free to raise your hand if you feel moved. So committee, any debate on this? Thoughts about whether we should approve it, not approve it? Perhaps a motion?
David, Tonto Cabrera messaged me in the chat. I believe he had something to speak on this.
Tonto, are you there? Yeah, I see you there. You want to just speak? Can you?
It's not for this construction, it's for another construction by Pier 42, but
Let's hold on to that. If we can hold
okay.
on to that. I'm not sure that's on the agenda. It's not.
Pier 42 is parks.
Okay. So committee. What do we want to do? How can we come to a decision? Michelle,
I move to give our support for this change. It's only 4 spots. It's a incredibly tiny street. I'm guessing that really what the trucks do is that they actually do block the street. So I think we should support this.
I'll second that. I think that was a motion. Okay, thought that she started. Okay, so we need to draft language for this then, unless
Want to do bullet points, we'll flesh them out.
that sounds good. So committee, what that means is anything that's substantive that we want said, like a whereas, or certainly the resolve, we can just we just state what we want to say, and then it'll be put into more readable language after the meeting. So I think that, Wendy, if you want to bring up a document and share that to us. Okay, this is effectively it's a permanent change, but we might want to talk about we want to explain what it is. We want to explain that there's a problem because what the proposal is, what the problem is it's addressing, and a little bit about what's causing it, that there's the construction happening. That construction is going to take a long time. So I don't think we need to focus on how long it's going to be. I don't necessarily think. But in any case, what I'm saying here is it's going to be a change to the street side regulations, and another change would require another resolution in the future. So it's not like we're saying for the duration of the construction. Whole lot of words that probably didn't help just now. We can start with whereas construction of it's construction of the.
Thought you were doing just bullet points.
Yeah, I know, but that's okay. We can start with a word there. Construction on it's well, we can say XXX. Is well, it's prevented street side parking on the west side of Baxter Street between Walker and Bayard streets. So it's doing that. Okay, and then we need we'll have to have another one, so you can new bullet that it is local businesses are not able to manage deliveries without curbside space. That's a point we need to make. The current regulations are on the east side of the street. It's a mix of COVID shacks. What's a better word for that? Street current emergency restaurant program. That's why it's a bullet point.
Open restaurant dining and 2-hour metered parking.
Yeah, and DDC is proposed to probably end up being the first thing I think, but DOT has proposed converting the 2-hour metered parking to 2-hour commercial metered parking. And it's we don't really need to say that those will be the points we need to make. Are there others? Of course, at the end, resolve to approve, and the office can flesh that out. We should add the bullet for that.
The only thing I'd emphasize, David, is it's only 4 spots. It's not like it's a block of parking. It's
There
space
you
for
go.
4 cars.
That's true. Okay, so a point would be that, that, you know, that, yeah, it's about four parking, parked cars can be accommodated in the existing metered parking. That's what's being turned into. Probably then it's going to be space for a couple trucks, you know. Two other things. We should have a bullet mentioning that there's the senior center at the corner is also being impacted by the current situation. And the office can, yeah, I would say by the current situations, but it'll be better off after the change, right? And so then if we suggest two things that we, in the resolves that we approve, let's explain that there is a curb shack, a restaurant dining shed that is not being used.
Is that still in the whereas section?
I think it is. We want to
Okay.
explain that there is the situation, right?
Okay.
Susan had described it that abandoned sheds do get removed by the city. This one is not needed, but the fact that it's there is a problem. You know, it would free up space for the street side parking if it were removed. That's what I believe the argument is. You know, and so, you know, the city shouldn't be restricting itself. They should make use of the DOT program to remove sheds, in spite of the fact that the business is still operating. Just
We,
not-
considering that, you know, the city construction has caused the parking problems on, not these words, but the city construction has caused the parking problems on this block. That would help be mitigated by removal of the shed. Because otherwise, we're not going to say every shed in the city should be removed if the restaurant doesn't want it anymore.
Right, correct. Has created the parking, the pressure on parking.
Yeah.
That's why this one, yeah. Susan can explain that.
Yeah, I can do that. Can I make one more suggestion?
Sure.
Where it says DDC proposed, can we put after consultation with the impacted businesses?
Yep.
I'm sorry, could I get that one more time?
Where it says DDC has proposed,
Yes, right there.
yeah,
Where you were after consulting with the local businesses.
with the impacted businesses.
Correct. So then we can put two resolved clauses. Resolve that we approve of the conversion to the commercial parking. And we ask and I think it should be a separate resolve. It's like a separate bullet. We ask DOT to, I guess, pay for the removal. I don't know what the words will end up having to be, Susan, but to pay for removal of the one shed.
The mentioned one shed, the previously mentioned one shed to specify?
She'll identify it. I think it's
Okay.
Susan will identify it.
Yeah, we should put we'll put in the specific name.
Right.
Okay.
Are there other arguments that we ought to be making to support these two resolved clauses? I think that's it.
David, I'm not sure, David, if the commercial parking spaces can be used, say, for example, restaurant diners after certain hours. Is that automatic?
Not be used for restaurant diners. Commercial would mean commercial plates can use it. We've had a couple of these in the past, at least one. It was just an example, but it was on South Street, or maybe it's still there on South Street. And the intent at that time was that we would have commercial metered parking so that buses could actually lay over there and they would have to pay for the privilege of using it. They have commercial plates. Buses and or the vans, the van services. So it was to get those vans, give them a place off of the streets, off of the, streets in the interior of Manhattan. Does that
Thank
make
you.
sense?
That's
So,
helpful. Yes. So I would assume, for example, the restaurant delivery trucks only arrive between certain hours, say 10 to 4. So it would be helpful for the public if after 5 or 6 p.m., those spots can be used for restaurant diners, for example.
I got it. So what is the current regulation, I guess, and what is the proposal? I saw there were hours, except Sunday. Would it be the same time restrictions? Is that what's proposed?
Well,
Regulation DDC?
I certainly wouldn't assume that deliveries start at 10. I would imagine some of them start very, very early.
I agree. I don't know that they add that soon either. I see your point, July, but I don't know. We've talked before about, do you just need it for a few hours? And almost no business has ever been able to say that they are able to do that. It's out of their hands when deliveries happen. So since DDC did discuss this with the local businesses, at least the ones that are impacted right there. Michelle?
There's actually a parking lot on that street, amazingly. Plus there is the many Canal Street subway stations, 1 block from there. So I think everyone is fine when it comes to transportation to this extremely small block. So that's my take on that.
Josh?
I may be wrong here. Maybe our presenter can correct me, but isn't commercial metered parking from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m.? Isn't that generally what it is? Is that what it will be here, I guess?
Jackie?
Jackie, can you confirm the hours?
Yeah, just give me 1 second. Let me just pull up the exact hours that we had proposed. 1 moment.
And the just to answer the previous question, the current regulation for the signage that's out there is 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. except Sundays. That's for the current metered.
We should capture that as well.
Yes, so that was 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. commercial metered parking.
Yeah. So July, to your point, isn't that what you're saying? People can still use that because
Yes,
that's-
exactly. Thank you. Very
Great.
helpful.
Win-win.
So both are 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. except Sunday for the current and the coming regulations?
Is that what you said for the current? Jackie, what did you say?
Sorry, no, the current for the sign that's out there is 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. except Sunday.
And the new is 7 a.m. to 6 p.m.
And would it be day of the week restricted? Currently, it's except Sunday.
So the commercial, I believe, would be in effect Monday through Friday. Yes, Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Okay, I do want to capture this in the resolution. Great, thank you. I see you putting it there. Yeah, 7 till 6. And what happens in the other hours? It reverts to street side parking, perhaps? I don't know. I'm not a car driver much, so.
Jackie?
I believe outside of those hours, they do, they convert to just regular parking.
I don't know if that's on the driver's license exam that I passed, but I would have failed the question. Okay. Is there any more?
I would actually have to confirm with that. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, well, nobody's really asking. I was more asking so that I fully understood, but we don't need to record it here at all. Committee? Do we need more discussion? Is it clear what we're voting on and how this is, it's not going to appear in this way at the full board? Is that clear to the committee? Susan, going to have the office reorganize these into logical and easy to read whereas clauses and resolve clauses. Susan, is there anything that you see that's not clear on there?
No, I think that's clear.
Okay, so the office isn't going to go beyond this and create whereas clauses with argumentation that's not listed here. So are we ready to vote, committee? Wendy, will you take a roll call, please? Thank you.
Joshua Waterman,
Yes.
Wendy Lee, yes. Lee Berman,
Yes.
Tariq Darrell,
Yes.
Michelle Cooper Smith,
Yes.
July Yang, July.
Yes, sorry about that.
All right, great. Thank you very much.
Oh, and I'll vote yes too.
Mhm.
please. Okay.
Oh, sorry, David.
Now we have 3 more items. Let me look back at the agenda. I believe that that's.
I'm gonna go. I just wanted to thank the committee very much for your time tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm trying to get back to there it is. I actually neglected to approve previous month's minutes, but we usually do that as a, anyway, it's not a vote. Let me just say it. Does everyone approve of the previous month's minutes? I'm sorry, we usually bundle this in with the initial vote on attendance. But the minutes they were in the full board meeting already. Okay, back. Bus stop applications, we have 3. So before we launch into them, I'll explain that there's a process that we used to see more regularly at the committee. And we saw one fairly recently, but there's a few more tonight. There's a regulatory scheme for using curbside space for bus stops. So a bus can apply to have a designated curbside space, and they get to operate their bus service at that space. They are required to tell us how often they're going to be picking up and dropping off, but that's not actually a restriction. Well, they need to discuss with DOT if they're going to make changes to that in the future. The process, DOT must make the curbs. Okay, DOT is required to provide curb space to buses that do want to operate. In an attempt to make sure that it's safe, there's this regulatory scheme. So DOT will have looked at these applications. The applicants have asked for 1 or more locations. DOT picks one that they feel is safe, that is not going to impact public safety or create undue traffic congestion at the location. The applicant then comes to us, and we have a discussion with the applicant about what they're doing. We often ask for stipulations for how they're going to operate. Largely, we're focusing on things that have always been an impact on the local community. That it's caused by operating a bus terminal, not in a bus terminal, by operating curbside, by operating, large buses that come in and pick up and drop off passengers, sometimes very early in the morning or very late at night. And we tend to focus on things like having, managing the passengers and providing restroom facilities. That's what the stipulations are about. So we get to comment on, on the application. If we feel that the location is unsafe, then we can say that to DOT. DOT has already looked at it and made a determination, but maybe they overlooked something. That is something we can comment back to them. We, when we do put stipulations on a license, DOT has agreed to attach it to the license. And then the bus company needs to follow them, or what can happen if they don't. Let's say they egregiously violate something. Complaints coming through the board office or perhaps direct to DOT, but a campaign can come about, and DOT would then talk to the applicant saying, look, there's a problem. You said you wouldn't do this. So that's what the stipulations are about. I think we can just now hear the applicants. I could go into a lot more detail, but I won't unless someone has a specific question, which you might want to hold on to ask me, or Susan also has quite a bit of knowledge about these applications. We have two. Yeah, Susan.
That the stipulations are on the website. I don't know if you want to share screen with them.
Okay, so let's, if we can share the one, then who should do it? There are 3 applicants. I would like to hear first the Eagle Bus applicant. That's one of the types that we usually get. So who can share it? Josh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
The bus applicant had. I don't want the bus applicant to share it necessarily. It's on the website, but I wasn't exactly prepared to share the applicant so people can see it.
Sure. You'd like to see his application?
Yeah, for Eagle Bus. So
yeah. Let me just pull it up.
In the past, we've just had the applicant describe where they're operating and so forth, but it's actually it's written out on the application. And since we are in an online meeting, it might be easier to have it shared. I can tell people that the block is on Chrystie Street, the block just north of Canal Street. And it's directly, well, maybe adjacent, I'm not sure, but it's part of the SDR park is adjacent to Chrystie there. That's the location. Okay. And I know that there have been buses that operate probably at that location in the past. Perhaps they are still there. The application is not coming up. Yeah, there we go. 51 Chrystie. So that's on the building side of the street. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. This has had buses in the past. Are there buses there that you know of operating now?
I think they're no longer using the bus stop from what I understand. That the original bus permit that was there, they're no longer using.
If someone from the public, we'll get to the public in a bit, but pay attention to what's being said if you have anything like a correction. So thanks for that. So proposed method of operation. So he's proposing 4 pickups in the morning hours, picking up passengers through early afternoon, but earlier in the day, and then late in the day afternoon. Through evening, there are 4 drop-offs. Where are you operating between New York City and?
East Rutherford, New Jersey, going to the American Mall.
Oh, I thought I had seen Waltham, Massachusetts on here somewhere.
No, we're based out of Waltham, we're a Massachusetts company, correct.
So you're operating between here and a mall in, okay?
East Rutherford, New Jersey, correct.
Okay.
So we'll be picking up passengers from downtown, bringing them to the mall. They shop. The American Mall has a lot of, it's almost like an amusement park.
Yeah.
And then they'll spend the day there, and then we bring them back to Manhattan.
Okay. The bus, so committee, this is, the form has not been modified since we put it out there. So I will say that the bus layover, this was, we had thought that there would be the need to lay over buses very close to Manhattan. And that's what the question was about. But so what they're doing is basically that's where they're parking their buses when they're not in operation. It's not really relevant to us, I don't think, but.
Yeah, well, we rented space. So if a bus has to lay over, we park in Ridgewood. So we won't be laying the buses over in Manhattan.
Can you talk about the route that you would be taking though to this location?
It would be coming, we would go right through the Lincoln Tunnel. And then we'd be coming in and out of Manhattan through the Lincoln Tunnel.
And how would you approach this block of Chrystie, like locally? Where would you?
Try to think. I don't know the exact street that we would come down. Let me see.
All the streets that come to Chrystie from the Bowery are really small. So I suspect you'd be coming from a little further north. I suspect.
Yeah, I would have to check with my dispatcher, to be honest with you.
Okay. But certainly you'll be leaving by going to the corner of Canal Street, taking a right.
Correct. Taking a right on Canal, correct.
Okay. The questions about pollution controls at this point, these are obsolete. 10, 15 years ago when we started this, was more like 10. There were still there were still old buses around that didn't comply, that were grandfathered in. That's not the case anymore, and these people have modern buses, so they've got
correct
pollution control devices. There'll be less emitting of asthma inducing pollutants.
Correct. Our oldest buses are 2008, and we've been upgrading all of our fleet to 2018s and above.
Okay, I'm not even sure that okay, well, great. Is there a storefront? Now, I noticed that you're saying you don't have a storefront.
But our ticket agency, where all the tickets are purchased and the passengers get their tickets, is at 28 Allen Street.
Okay, so it's a short block of it's parallel.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's one block over. Yep.
Perhaps two. It's within walking distance, but it's a short walk. The question
Correct.
really is about restrooms. So can you describe the restroom situation and how customers will be able to access that?
Yeah, in the restrooms, I know we were going to talk with one of the store owners in front of 51 Chrystie. I think there's a beauty store there now. We're waiting for the owner to call us back to discuss possibly using their restrooms during those business hours. If not, we have full men's and ladies restrooms at 28 Allen Street, including handicap access.
Okay.
And our office is open from the ticket office is open from 8 a.m. till 11 p.m.
So it's from 11 a.m. It's the drop-offs that are more of a concern, because when you're dropping off.
I think you said 8 a.m. to say that again. As you said 8 a.m.
Yeah, 8 a.m. to like 11 p.m. at night. Yep.
Okay. So it's good that you have a backup plan. The thing is, customers who need to use the restroom soon after getting off a long bus trip, if they don't know where to go, it can cause a public nuisance.
Okay.
And that's what we want to avoid.
Okay.
So we would love it if you did have lined up the access, like you say, at the beauty salon.
Correct.
Okay. Agreement with them, to be able to do that would be ideal.
Okay, great.
On the street, it's a short walk. Most customers will be able to do it. Would they know to ask? I don't know.
But on all drop-offs and pickups, we'd have a company representative there as well at the location, at the stop.
Okay. Let's go ahead and scroll down a bit further. Then we'll get to the stipulations, the contact correct. Here we go. So every day of the week in those hours. So the stipulations, they've actually agreed to all of them, but he hasn't checked off the storefront one.
Because I was still waiting to talk to the owner. Yep.
Okay, I'm kind of choking up here. We would ordinarily, in the past committee, what we've done is we would pass a resolution encouraging them to continue their efforts to identify a location. We have a reason for that. Committee, I'm gonna let you debate now. let me actually ask the public if there's people from the public who want to speak first. I should be able to bring up a hand, something I can see people's hands. Are there people from the public who want to speak about this item? So few of us, if you can't find your hand function and just want to speak, go ahead. All right, committee or Susan. You want to make this? Yeah.
If I could just ask one question, is there a bathroom on the bus?
Yes.
So
All,
that,
all buses have, all the buses are equipped with bathrooms.
I would just think that helps a little bit.
Yep.
Committee members, you have questions for or discussion for us? How do people feel generally? What do you want to pass a motion, with the stipulations approving it with maybe side conditions, or do we want to disapprove of it? Susan, Michelle?
Oh, just always my concern with this, because I live very close to where a lot of these street side bus stops are, is that people crowd the sidewalk. This one doesn't actually seem like a bathroom issue because they're just going to New Jersey. It's not like one of those long haul buses. But I think that, David, in the past, we've asked how long before the time that the bus is departing does the bus arrive, right? So that people can get on the bus instead of queuing on the street. That's always my concern, because people block the sidewalk because they have nowhere to stand.
Right.
Correct. Roughly 30 minutes before we can be there for every pickup and drop off. Yep.
Thanks. That seems pretty good, I think, in the scheme of these situations, because I mean, on East Broadway, it's impassable a lot of
Oh,
times.
no, I understand. No, I understand completely. Yeah. Yeah. We instruct all of our drivers to make sure that no one's crowding or blocking the sidewalks as they're loading and unloading the buses as well.
Right. So on the flip side, though, having buses sitting at the curb for half hour in the middle of the winter, it is a strong temptation to run the engine so that the heater can remain going, and that's not legal and not safe.
So maybe we can make different stipulations for winter. Do it 15
Well,
minutes prior.
it's law. We actually never include in the stipulations because there is a law that the bus cannot idle curbside for longer than, I believe it's 10 minutes.
Okay.
And it's routinely violated.
Okay.
Anyway, Josh.
Just on the topic of crowding the sidewalk, I saw you did check the stipulation regarding assigned seating so that people aren't crowded. I mean, you guys are a pretty established this is a pretty major bus company, right? I'm sure there's
correct. Yes.
Can you just speak to, is there a system in place to, people just have a seat? It doesn't really matter if you get there early, you get the best seat, right?
Yeah, you can just get on basically we can tickets either purchased online or at the store, and then they can go right to the bus. There's no assigned seating in the sense of, you sit in third row. Basically, they just get on the bus and sit wherever they want to sit. So they won't be standing around.
All right. So in the interest of getting this rolling, we since we do a lot of these resolutions, I think Josh has prepared draft language with numerous whereases that we can consider. And maybe Wendy has that.
Yeah, Wendy, look at you go. Great, thank you.
So I haven't heard. Well, I don't know whether we're trending toward approving it or not, but let's go through these whereases. So I think we can fill in the blank there. The East Rutherford, New Jersey.
East Rutherford, right?
Yes,
Okay.
that's correct.
So the first one is, that's it. The applicant has entered into agreement. And so this is all of the agreements that we don't, they haven't really secured a place for restroom facilities. Well, there's two alternatives. Can we scroll beyond the stipulations?
I left it blank, David, because I figured we'd get a good answer in the presentation, and I feel like we did.
Right. Okay. So the rest of the committee, we want to say anything, or did everyone agree with, I think Josh is saying we doesn't feel we need to put in something about. Do we want to strike this sentence that we're looking at, or do we want to flesh it out? Sorry, I've kind of lost sight of people as we're presenting. I need to figure out how to do that. Under view at the top, I can do side-by-side gallery. Got it. Now I can see everybody. No,
Sorry. I think there's value in just making that clear to the full board that he does have a location and even a backup location for restrooms. You know, people aren't going to be peeing on the street at 51 Chrystie or whatever it is. You know, I think that's worth mentioning to the full board. This seems fine. I'll be voting in favor of this.
I agree. Michelle made a point earlier that it's not a very long bus ride either, because it is mostly to New Jersey. It's not like it's going to Boston, for instance. So I don't think it's really necessary for that whereas clause.
So does someone want to propose that we strike that whereas clause, is it, or alternatively to modify it? Like, make a motion to amend it to either strike or modify.
I motion to strike.
All right, does anyone object to striking that clause? If there's no objection, we're going to strike it. Let's get rid of it. Thank you. Does someone want to fill in the blank about issue a permit or denies the application for a permit? I think, or I'm just going to move it. If no one objects, let's make this to approve, to issue the permits. That would be an approval. You object to doing that? So go ahead and make that change, please. Issue a permit. For Eagle Bus, yeah. Operate at, does it? We're squinting to read it. Made everyone bigger, so I can't read the words now. Got it. If there's no more discussion, we'll go to a vote in a moment. Is there any more discussion? Seeing none. Wendy, I'll let you take a roll call vote. Thank you.
Okay. Joshua Waterman.
Yes.
Wendy Lee, yes. Lee Berman.
Yes.
Tariq Darrell.
Yes.
Michelle Cooper Smith.
Yes.
July Yang.
Yes.
And David Crane.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, we have
Thank you. Thank you to everybody.
Thank you. We
Thank
have
you.
2 more applications, and they are actually virtually identical, except for the location. So what this is it's a Academy Express, which is a company that is they're NYU outsources to Academy Express basically a bus route that they operate for students and probably for faculty and employees. And they come to us from time to time, and they're looking for a permit to operate these shuttle buses in our area and beyond, but to shuttle people back and forth to the campus, providing transportation services to the university committee. So I'll invite someone from either NYU or Academy to explain more if they want to in a few minutes. Or if you have a long presentation, let me know. Applicant? Is the applicant here?
I believe T Luna is the applicant.
I see them in the meeting. Is that, and they're unmuted. We're unable to hear you if you're trying to speak. Maybe your computer, headphone or something, your mic isn't picking up. No. Josh, did they say that they were the applicant earlier?
That's who I have on the list from Deirdre, that I don't even have a name. I just have the email. Maybe Drew or Susan, do we have like a phone or anything? We can try to, I don't know, maybe they froze or something.
I don't have a phone. If nobody's here, we just have to
Right.
deny due to non-appearance and see if they want to come back.
We could also, I think, just issue a denial, which we could reconsider. I mean, if an applicant came to us and said, you totally misunderstood, well, you know what? They won't really know what's on they won't know the language.
So the person they work with, who did contact me and is kind of like their, I don't know, expediter, I don't know, lobbyist type, and he's very aware of this meeting. He's not here, but he's very aware of the meeting.
Right. Okay, one second. It looks to me like, right. This is a Monday through Thursday service. I'm looking at the application. It looks like it's Monday through Thursday only, and that it is running about, 4 or 5, depending on the hour, 2 to 5 runs per hour, around 50 or 60 throughout the day. I haven't seen the word NYU anywhere here, and I am making the assumption that it's still NYU like it always has been when they come to us. I'm going to express my opinion, okay? Looking for Zoom window again.
I just tried to call the lobbyist and he's not answering.
They were trying to connect to audio a few seconds ago.
They were.
The T Luna.
You saw a change happening, or I'm sorry, are they reporting?
Yes,
something?
I saw under T Luna attempt to connect to audio about 20 seconds.
Having problems, he can type in the chat and let us know. Or maybe he can call in. I think if you could type in the chat and let us know, we can figure it out.
I'm virtually certain that it's not on the Zoom end. The problem is
with him, yeah.
With him and with equipment. It's not with the Zoom application that's been unmuted. Okay, I don't see anything typing here.
No.
In the past, what we have always done is deny the NYU affiliated bus stops because it's diluting demand for the Metropolitan Transit Authority, for the regular bus routes and subway, depending on how far it's going. As more and more, of our housing is used for NYU students, we have less and less demand for public transportation, and the city transit does reduce the amount of public mass transit whenever they notice that the ridership is down. They routinely do this, and NYU is contributing to that downward cycle by providing private bus service to their community. So although it's maybe a form of mass transit, it's better than if they all had cars. It is reducing the public mass transit option. That's what we've done in the past. Now, we don't have them here to try to convince us not to do that again, or even to confirm that it is NYU, because it's not written in the application. So committee, what do you think we ought to do?
Okay, I just tried to call Tony Luna and he's not answering either.
And Susan has suggested an alternative to flat out approval or denial tonight, which would be to deny due to non-appearance. We had never had to do that for one of these. We do that in situations where the agency really does listen to us. And they will delay the application because of non-appearance.
I expect DOT would do that.
Do you? Okay.
The issue is this: if this is NYU, which I suspect it is, they're starting classes yesterday, and
Right.
I'm seeing their empty buses riding around the office already.
Why would the applicant be deceptive about not filling in the application completely with who they are shuttling?
Well, they are. They did. It's Academy Express.
Yeah,
I
they
think it's the name of the
told us.
company.
They
They
told
don't, right. They don't tell us the purpose that they're going between the, well, maybe they did, but I don't think they're saying that we're going between this campus. Now, we asked which cities. The whole process, as we envisioned it, was for intercity, long haul. And so our application doesn't say if you're going around inside of the city, tell us, the one stop is at the corner of, 13th Street and 3rd Avenue and 13th, and I forget what the other one is. Michelle?
Well, I think we should make a motion to table this if they're not here. But just a reminder to the committee that we denied a similar application in February. I can send it to you, Josh, if you want to send it to everyone.
Oh, I drafted language for tonight based on.
Oh yeah. Oh no, I know. Just
Oh,
I mean, sorry, the minutes so that people can see the denial, just to get context. But I think we should table this for now, if there's a second for that.
Second that.
Okay. So committee,
What does that mean?
it's not table. I'm not going to take it as a table. What, Michelle, I believe what you really meant was to deny it due to non-appearance.
Yeah, or whatever. I mean,
Free to
just
come
we
out.
shouldn't
Right.
be considering it substantially tonight.
Right.
Then we have to deny it until they come back. Otherwise, we're just saying, nothing,
Yes, Susan, indeed. And that is the motion that I'm accepting. So I'm trying to rephrase it exactly like that. So we would be a motion to deny because the CB3 denies this application because the applicant did not appear at the meeting. And account that as non-appearance if they can't speak to us. We believe that they may be listening to us. But then they can come back next month. Okay, so I guess, Wendy, do you want to bring up a screen share document so we can capture the words there and then vote on it? Is there anyone from the public who was here to speak on this before we do this? Who still feels they want to now? Okay, go ahead and unmute public if you want to talk. So Wendy, this is CB3 asks DOT to deny the permit. Josh, you have language for we used in the past, and the reason is going to be they didn't appear. But do we ask them to deny? We ask.
I don't have the language on non-appearance, but in the other tab that Wendy has going, that I mean, I had all the whereases of what we were prepared. Yes, 4 and 5 are these ones.
So the draft, the to not approve, to not issue a permit.
So maybe it's it's a different. Obviously, it's a different situation because
right.
For a very different reason.
Right, is a different reason, but we want to ask them to do a particular action, which I believe is to not issue a permit for them to operate. Right.
Then that would be
there it is.
The same, therefore.
Yeah, the same thing. So whereas the applicant did not appear, blah, 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 therefore we asked them to deny it.
Yeah, the first whereas might still be good for this because it just provides context to what the situation is. Okay. But everything else is related to, actual public transit.
Okay, so the middle two whereases, let's change that to be whereas the applicant did not appear at the transportation committee meeting to discuss their operation.
Although they had confirmed.
Thank you. Although they had confirmed. Feel badly that they may be sitting here listening to us super frustrated, but this is what has happened.
So he left.
Oh, he did. So he may be coming back in, attempting to come back in, which would be great if he did. He gets here soon. And now, therefore, be resolved that we recommend to not approve the permit to Academy for curbside loading, and then cut the entirety, correct. And we would say there because due to non-appearance. Then go ahead and just shorthand it there, due to non-appearance. So I believe that's what you intended as your motion, Michelle, and that Susan, that's going to have the effect that we expect, right? That you expect, that you're recommending?
Where is?
That this motion is what you recommend that we do.
Yeah.
Josh.
Yeah, maybe just procedurally, maybe you can help me out. Can we just combine these two? I mean, it was two identical requests with just the different addresses. Can we
No,
just-
I would not, please.
Okay, so let's just make, so however you want to do it then, David, but
Yeah.
Can
yeah, we should just
probably
make
just,
two of these two of these resolutions.
Right.
Probably just copy and paste it.
Yeah, cut and paste the middle whereas in the same place, and then, you know, change the last clause, the therefore, which it's a different operation. So don't do that therefore, don't do the therefore, because it's a different operation. It's the middle whereas only.
Wait, it's the same one though, so.
It's a different location. You'll have to cut and paste the location on top of it. That's fine. Yeah. Yeah.
It's a little better.
Yeah, I suppose, but where's the therefore?
And then it's at the bottom. Just got
Is
cut
that
off.
the location for the second one? I think the second is different. No, that's the
Oh,
first.
wait. And then,
There you go. Yeah, to make it more readable, you just cut the corner at through corner. It'll be, yeah.
cut out this entire.
Yeah, because we had previously explained that part. So the applicant's still not here. I think, well, committee, any more discussion? We have two votes we're going to take in a row on the two different, well, we can combine them in a single vote. You can say yes for both. Or you can separate your vote if you want to do yes for one and no for the other, or no for both. Let's go to a vote then. Wendy, is it clear we're voting on two items right now? Wendy?
Okay. Joshua,
Yes and yes.
Wendy, 2 yeses. Lee,
Before I vote yes and yes, I just want to confirm, Joshua, you don't have any indication that they're trying to get back in Right.
That's correct. He's not in
Okay.
the
the queue. Okay, so yes and yes. Thank you.
Tariq,
Yes.
to both.
Yes.
Okay. Michelle
Yes to both.
and July
Yes to both.
and David.
Yes, vote.
Thank you.
So I think that's the end of our business tonight. If there's anyone in the public who wanted to speak about something that wasn't on the agenda, you could have 2 minutes to do that if you wanted. Jackie. If you're speaking, we are not hearing you. Okay, maybe that was an accident.
Oh,
So-
sorry. Can you hear me?
Now we can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Sorry. I just wanted to flag, I was looking over something and I realized, I think I've been saying 2 hour commercial metered parking when the standard signage is 3 hours. So I just wanted to flag that and just make sure that I'm saying the right hours. It's 3 hours commercial metered parking is our standard for that signage.
Okay, let's do a quick move to amend something previously adopted. I don't think that's going to be a problem. Committee, do have people have a problem with that? So let's do just a quick hand vote on moving to amend something previously adopted. And Wendy, you'll have to capture a 3 hour into the language. All in favor? I can see you, or you can do another hand. I see 4 in favor, maybe 5, 6, 5, 6. All opposed? I'm seeing no opposed. Okay, great. Is there anything else, Susan?
I just want to ask Jackie, I forgot you were on here. So can you take back our message regarding holding off the approval for the bus permits until they come back to us?
Yes, I will send that over.
Yeah, Margaret always used to, be willing to delay it, so I'm assuming it's not going to be a problem. Thank you.
No problem.
Right, we actually do want them to come back because we want the opportunity to explain in a lot more detail. Well, potentially, I mean, I'm not determining the outcome here, but in the past, we have wanted the opportunity to explain in a lot more detail why we are against these things. The committee may do something completely different next month. Susan, your hand's still up? Okay. So the meeting is we've basically just done a vote as a roll call. So there's no reason that we can't just adjourn right now, correct? The people who voted in the last roll call vote were the ones who were present at the end of the meeting. Meeting's adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you, committee.
Thank you,
Thank you, and
committee.
good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Josh, don't go yet.
I'm still here, Susan.
Okay, can you send me the chat? Should be saved on your computer. If you could send that to me.
Okay, I will.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
I know.